now that the Oregon women have, kind of blossomed the last couple of years, that the distance is coming back, obviously with the addition of Shalane Flanagan coaching them, and obviously the sprints, the jumps, and the throws do their things. But how important is it, obviously with the history behind the distance program, you want to be able to build that program up again here with the addition of Shalane Flanagan?
Absolutely. The University of Oregon, they're known as being the distance powerhouse, and to see what Coach Shalane Flanagan and Coach Jerry Schumacher have done to rejuvenate the program is it shows where their thinking is, and that's what we're looking for tonight, especially in the 3K steeple. We have a couple Oregon Ducks who they're looking to see if they can find a couple extra points from this outdoor season, from this outdoor championships that you can't get indoors, which is the steeplechase, of course. So they're testing the waters, if you will, with some steeplers on that women's steeplechase, and we're all anxious to see how it goes. Shalane probably most of all. But of course, we'll start here with the 5K to see where they are in this with this distance side on things.
19 women in total set to race here in this women's 5,000. Again, the athletes to keep an eye out for, and you see them right there in lane one. Ceylon Eiledes, the transfer from South Carolina, an all SEC indoor and outdoor conference performer, and now a contributor for the Oregon Ducks. And then Maddy Elmore coming off what was just a career year for the South Eugene High School product. Just went to high school just right down the road from Hayward Field. And of course, the impact of Shalane Flanagan has shown here, and the improvements that Maddy Elmore has had. And another athlete I really want to talk about is the one standing on the very far left, Anika Thompson, who grew up in nearby Junction City, has had is probably the most improved athlete out of all the Duck athletes on the distance side. And she was about a 16 mid or so 5K runner, breaks 16 for the first time this year, runs 15:52 for the first time ever, and finally broke 5 in the mile this year. Obviously, like I said, the impact of Shalane has been huge, but that just tells you this athlete is a really hard worker.
Absolutely, and to see improvement like that this early into the career is just excellent, and it's what every coach dreams of having is an athlete like that.
So you see right next to her, Melissa Berry of the Ducks, senior, lifetime best 16:16:38. Get a chance to see what 4 Oregon women can do in this race. We'll also see a few others from small tier Division I schools, Seattle U, Portland, and some from the Division II level, Western Washington, St. Martin's. You see Eastern Washington out of the Big Sky in the mix, as well as the outdoor season is underway here at Hayward Field. And Robbie, you know a thing or two about running at Hayward, how special it is to just get back out onto this track. For a lot of these athletes, it's their first time too.
It's hard to put into words how magical Hayward Field truly is, and the Oregon athletes have the luxury of being able to train there year round, which I'm not going to say it dulls the magic, but it makes them appreciate it even more so, because they get to walk around, see the Hall of Fame, see the statues, see who's come before them. So the Oregon athletes truly understand how special it is every time they get to race on this track, and you could see that on the starting line. They're having fun. They're throwing up the Oregon O. They're very excited to represent their school and get the season started.
Well, not very many opportunities that the Ducks will get to race on their home track this year, because there's really, if you put in perspective, there's only 3 home meets, and 2 if you're not even counting NCAAs this year. So they have the Oregon Preview, then the Oregon Twilight, and then it's just kind of up in the air. It's you hope to get back here at Hayward Field. So this year, it's a really an important year for a lot of the athletes, especially on the Oregon team and that women's team coming off that 4th place finish, not just in indoor, but also in the outdoor season. Obviously, outdoor was in Austin, Texas last year. It's now back in their home turf, but it really seems like it's going to be an important year for this program, kind of just moving forward. Obviously, like I said, the distance has flourished the last couple of years. They're starting to get back to what they normally were, and like I said, yeah, everything seems like it's turning turning out well for the Ducks.
Yeah, Coach Flanagan, she knows a thing or two about competing at a high level. So I'm sure she's instilling that into her athletes in the locker room in the pre-race talks. And it's the most important thing about collegiate running is it's a culture. You really want to have a positive culture around your team. You want to have this expectation of excellence, and that's what Oregon has been known for. And I firmly believe that Coach Schumacher and Coach Flanagan instill that into their athletes. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the product of that, and that's just great coaching.
Single file through here as we've gone through almost 800 meters is Elmore, Eilides, Thompson, Barry, and then from Portland, that's me, Nielsen, as well as her teammate, Maeve Richardson. And then Azalea Grulo from Seattle U, just right back there in 7th.
So Keenan, I'm noticing a lot of the athletes up front in that first pack, they're wearing racing flats. They're not wearing spikes, which is a tactic a lot of coaches use early on in the season to save their athletes' legs. Spikes are great for running fast. They're also great for making you tired and sore. So to see the athletes wearing racing flats that you might see marathon athletes wear on the road uh, is a sign that they're protecting their legs for how long the season's going to be, while they still want to run fast. They're not wearing their training shoes. They are wearing a racing flat. But it's just interesting to note that from the athletes up front.
It's interesting that you touch upon that. A lot of these women are coming off of an indoor season where their fitness is at an all-time high. Like they're obviously the big picture is they want to focus on NCAAs, and this being an Olympic year, they want to peak at the right time. But it's interesting that you wouldn't necessarily want to go throw down a fast time early on in the year. I mean, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so there's a few ways to approach a season. You can look at this meet middle to late March and use that as an opportunity to get your regional qualifier out of the way, if you will. So then you can focus the remainder of the season on racing and focusing on the championships like the conference meet and the regional. Or you can use it as a build-up where you're taking each race as a learning experience. Maybe this is an event that the athletes aren't used to, or that it's new to them, so they're going to try it out now to see if it's a good fit or not later on in the season. If the coaches are evaluating if they can use those athletes to score points at the conference meet and potentially the national meet. So there's a few ways to approach it, and I don't know if any one is right or wrong, but it is important to note that there are different ways to do it.
Another 79-second for the Oregon women. That group of four starting to pull away from Nielsen and Richardson of Portland. And initially in this race, when the starting list came out, it was just Anika Thompson and Melissa Berry that were in this mix. And then just today I saw it was Maddy Elmore and Ceylon Eilides. So I'm curious what that, maybe perhaps like what Coach Flanagan is thinking about. Like obviously these women have ran 3,000s, not necessarily a ton of 5,000s this indoor season, but I'm curious what her process thought. It's like, hey, let's just throw them out there and see what happens.
Yeah, and to help your teammates out it's a big honor to be asked to help your teammates out, because it is a team sport, especially on the distance side where you have cross country, and on the track it's very much a team sport. So as you see the athletes take turns leading, that's great sportsmanship. So they're just trying to help their teammates out here, and when I say pacing, that doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to finish, because they could still finish the race. But Coach Flanagan's probably looking as a big workout, and trying to again evaluate where her athletes are. But to see them take turns leading shows that they're taking this as not a workout, but they're looking to work together towards a common goal.
So through that first kilometer, around 3:17, 3:16 or so. And obviously I cannot do the math off the top of my head just based off what we're seeing in the first couple of laps. But I mean, it looks like it's a relatively comfortable pace from all these athletes so far. Like you said, like it's the beginning of the year. No one's trying to peak at this time right now. It seems like this is going to be a type of a workout type of race.
So that's about 16:20 pace. if you will. So if and they'll my guess is that they'll cut down the last 2K mile, maybe 1200. They'll really look to squeeze it down and see what they can go. And they they could be looking at this as a prep for a 10K, where they're running 10K pace early on and then seeing how fast they can close the last 2K of this 5K. There's Coach Flanagan and Coach Jerry. They're very artistic with things. You know, they have a different way of approaching racing and training that you don't always see in college coaches, and you get that a lot from their Barrowman Track Club athletes. You know, you saw Carissa Schweitzer open up with a 10K last weekend after having a Achilles surgery. So they're not afraid to race their athletes. They're not they enjoy racing. They wanted them to race, especially at the collegiate level. A home meet, you want to take advantage of it.
That pace is picking up a little bit, 77 on that last lap for the 4 Oregon women up front after just clicking off 79s the last couple of laps. So perhaps this is, again, we're seeing Ceylon click her watch, so obviously she's taking some splits right there, and perhaps Coach Flanagan's message for her was like, all right, this is what you got to go run out there, and you got to hit this. Not necessarily focus on the race itself, but like focus on trying to hit those paces throughout this race.
Yes, pace. They're probably not looking for a fartlek style race where you go fast and go slow, go fast and go slow. They're looking for that steady pace, so then they can accelerate in the later stages of the race. Is someone getting antsy? No. Looks like they're just trying not to step on each other. It's a long way to go. So I'm happy to see them taking turns and monitoring their pace.
So we don't just have track events going on tonight. We also got a full day of competition to conclude a really busy weekend here on runnerspace.com. And of course, one of the highly anticipated races we'll get to see will be on the men's side. It's probably the 8 and 1500, the double from a lot of Oregon men, a young Oregon men's team, I should say. Perhaps, I don't know necessarily a lot of expectations for this group based on their resumes they've had in high school, but there seems to be a lot of excitement with this group tomorrow, and especially around a young man in Simeon Birnbaum.
Simeon Birnbaum, he's a talent, and I think his last race was here at Hayward, last outdoor. So to see him put on the Oregon uniform and run on the home track, I'm sure everyone is, including ourselves, is anxiously awaiting to see what he has in store for us. He's such an exciting racer, and you could call him the future of American distance running.
You know a thing or two about running the 1500, of course, being a 2016 Olympian at Rio. What have you seen from that particular event kind of just develop these last couple of years? Obviously, we're seeing athletes now like a Jakob Ingebrigtsen run 330s like it's like a cakewalk.
It's fast. Everything's gotten faster, and you can see that even on the NCAA level. What used to be considered fast now would not even qualify you for the NCAA meet. And that athletes, I think the mentality has changed more than anything. Athletes are just not afraid to get after it. They're wanting to just go from the gun. They're not waiting around for anything. They're just going. And is it more exciting? Is it less exciting? I just think it's exciting. Racing is racing. When you're running fast, it's a different type of skill, which it's hard to explain. But the 1500 has changed a ton in the last several years.
So over halfway through, the 3 kilometer mark is about 9:49.29 for Eilidh Ease as you see her fall back in the second. Maddy Elmore, the All-American in the 3000, moves up into first. Anika Thompson right there in third. So like you said, Robbie, as this race has gone along, the pace has picked up, and we can see now as the splits come through, that was about 77, 76 or so. So we can start to see them pull away from Melissa Berry a little bit. That was a 77.63 on that lap.
So yeah, you're looking at very consistent laps here. It's been 77s since about the 2K mark. So they were given strict instructions here to pick it up after the mile, heading into the 2 mile, and we'll see if they pick it up again here heading into this 3rd mile and the last kilometer.
Just surpassing 11.5 minutes now. Elmore, Thompson, Eiledes, then Barry right there in 4th. Richardson in 5th. Again, you can see the arms and legs start to go. And what was right around probably 16:20 pace has now dropped down to maybe closer to 16:15, 16:10 or so as they round the turn into the home straightaway.
It's great to see these ducks sticking together. You can tell it's starting to get tough. They've been squeezing the pace down very slowly. And then as you see the Portland runners behind them, they're working together too. This is great team chemistry. I'm absolutely loving this. It's what you want to see in a collegiate program.
So 75-85, starting to see some heat pickup here as Elmore, Thompson, Eiledes, all with each other here. Barry at 83 on that last lap. So we're coming up to 4,000 kilometers. Just around 13 minutes or so, right about, probably at 13 minutes, right at 4K. It's at 13:02 through 4 kilometers.
Yes, let's see how fast they can close this last K. They were probably told to stay comfy or pick it up each K. And now they're probably given free rein to see what they can do. And as you can see, the athletes are starting to use their arms a little more. That's a great tactic when you get tired. Just start using the arms. Save your legs a little bit. Start using everything you can to get going. There's still a good bit to go here, but you can see the change in their strides as they get later into the race here.
Come up to 800 meters to go. Elmore, Thompson, Eiledes, the women of Oregon, 1, 2, 3 here in this women's 5,000 on opening weekend here at Hayward Field. 66.99 for Elmore. So again, hovering around that pace right here. Like we said, we're starting to see that range pick up here. And we saw a lot of speed from Elmore during the indoor season. Of course, she ran an 8:52 in the 3,000, broke the Oregon school record. The wheels are there, and now we're starting to see it kind of being used right here in this 5,000.
Definitely, we're seeing Thompson here yo-yo a little bit. She's losing contact, gaining contact. A little bit of focus here would help her out heading into this last 600. You can see her teammates are trying to sandwich her there. They're trying to keep her going. This is excellent team running.
Less than 600 remaining in this race as Elmore running comfortably. Thompson still trying to hang on here, along with Eiledes, as they go off the turn into the home straightaway. Less than 500 remain now as they head into the bell lap here. Elmore, Thompson, Eiledes, just around 15 minutes, and it's 14:58 at the bell lap.
We'll see if we see any fireworks here. I'm not sure if we will, but they're going to be closing it down 100 by 100 here. They're still working together. See how close they can get to that 16-minute barrier.
77.60 on that last quarter. As Elmore, Thompson, Eiledes now down the backstretch, maneuvering their way around the rest of the field. We come up to 200 meters remaining. And a good start for the Oregon women here on day one. We saw them pick up wins in the high jump, javelin. And now we'll see the first track race of the day belong to the home squad as they're 3 across now into the home straightaway. Elmore, Eiledes, and Thompson just passing 16 minutes as they all smile with each other. They were just having fun the entire time, Robbie. At the line they go, just about 16:14 or so. 16:12.95, and I know we're early on in the year, but according to live results, that's an NCAA #1 time to start off the year.
If they could have crossed that finish line holding hands, I think they would have. You could tell that just from the starting line. They were so excited to get out there and compete for the University of Oregon. That was a excellent showcase of what team running is and using your teammates to push yourself.
16:13, adjusted to for that time. 16:13:02 for Thompson, 16:13:19 for Riley Dees, and then Melissa Berry finishing fourth. So it's a 1 through 4 sweep for the Ducks. 16:36:26 for Berry. Richardson of Portland finishing in fifth, and then Cassidy Wallach Sloan from St. Martin's, the Division II product, running a massive lifetime best, 16:40:76. You know, in early races like this, you get an opportunity when you're a smaller school to race against the bigger schools, and you take advantage of those opportunities when against faster competition.
How could you not? It's such a great strategy. Or these early season races, go test yourself. Go get into Hayward Field and see where you stack up against the other schools in the area. You have not a whole lot to lose in this situation, and we're seeing a lot of positive results, and it's what you want out of an early season race.
Again, Maddy Elmore winning it in 16:13 even, as we see the results populating on the screen right now. Again, we have athletes from Western Washington, Eastern Washington competing, Portland, St. Martin's. But all that green out front, sporting the black uniforms tonight. Maddy Elmore leads the Ducks 1 through 4 in this women's 5,000. As one more athlete crosses the line to conclude this women's 5,000. So the first track event done with here from Hayward Fields. We get set now for the men's 5,000 just right around the corner. Winner of the women's 5,000, Maddy